Hey guys, so there's something that I wanted to share with you guys. So I had this dream the other day where I was walking in this building. It was like a government facility. And I was walking on the third floor with this woman. She was a Caucasian woman. We were walking and we were talking in the building. And she worked for the government. She was a government agent. While we're walking, the conversation was very intense. Everybody around us was just kind of, doing their job and everything, whatever they were doing. And me and her were having a very intense conversation. At a certain point in the conversation, though, she stopped. And she was intensely trying to get me to understand something. And I was looking at her. And then she pointed at her arm. And she said, like, we are under attack. We are under attack. And then she was like saying, like, these people, like these kind of people, like our kind of people. But she was pointing at her arm, like her skin. So when I'm looking at her skin, though, it's my color. The woman was Caucasian, but when she pointed her skin color was like my color, darker color. We are under attack. Like they're about to be under attack. I don't know how to speak on the situation, but what I will say is that this video is not to instill fear into anybody. I believe that warning comes from preparation. That doesn't mean run somewhere and try to take matters into your own arms and your hands, but that means get down on your hands and knees in prayer and pray to God that God will protect, that God will keep, and that God will be with us and provide for us in these last and evil days. When she said, we are under attack, these kind of people are under attack, it made me think racist attack. All I could say is that we should pray.
All right. First and foremost, before I get started with this lesson, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach. Next, double honors to the apostles, the elders, and bishops of Great Millstone that rule well and have taught me the truth, peace, and salutations unto the hopeful elect. And that's your brother Debar Kabash coming back at you with a real quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I want to respond to the brother, the Hopeful Elect 3, brother Ariel Kayal. The name of the channel is the Hopeful Elect 3. And the name of the video was called Eve Shares Warning Dream of Jacob's Trouble. You see that? Let's grab this first. This is the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 28. And it reads, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions. See that? And I want to bring this out here, man, because this woman here, right, she's having, she had a dream, right, about the time of Jacob's trouble, man. Right? She had, and scriptures tell you, right, that this man is going to come in like a flood. You see, you already see the ICE agents out there, rounding up, the northern tribe. They are coming. They're gonna come after you too, you so-called blacks, man. Right? They're coming after Israel because it is Bible prophecy. You see, but I want to say all that because this woman here made a good point, in something, man. Right? She's warning you brothers and you sisters out there, man, right? In these last times, you better pray. Let me say that again. You brothers and you few sisters out there, man, now's the time. You better pray. You see things are getting worse every day by the day, man. And so when you seeing things getting worse out here, you seeing the ship sink more and more and more, right? Are you still going to just be, You know, remember the guys on the movie Titanic, you know, they were sitting there, you know, playing the instruments, you know, all the way until, you know, pretty much the water hit their feet, man. You know, are you going to wait until, you know, you find yourself in the middle, right, of trouble, man? Or are you going to prepare and pray now? You know, this woman here, she made mention that, you know, she's not trying to, you know, scare anybody or, you know, make anybody fit. We are, man. Right? We're telling you, right? Because scriptures tell you what? Knowing the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. You see? And we're trying to persuade you individuals to seek your power, man. And also the only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, man. Who the word ignorantly calls God and Jesus in these last times, man. You know? So you better pray. See that?
Attack. All I could say is that we should pray.
All she could say, right, is that you better pray. Is that we should pray. And I'm saying the same. You better pray. Not should, but better. You see? Let's go ahead and grab some scriptures here. I'm going to keep this, you know, lesson real short, man. And let's read this one first. This is the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 17, because prayer is very important, man. Now, you got a lot of people out there, you know, that pray for things. Man, if you're not coming in the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, right, your prayers are probably not being heard, man. And this is why you're seeing so much judgment going on. Right, this is why you're still seeing people lose their jobs. All right, this is why you're still seeing so much sedition out here. You know, you still hearing hollering about people talking about pray for America. America is not getting any better, man. It's not going to be healed. You see? So anyway, this is the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 17, and reads, pray without ceasing. And I love this scripture here, man, because it's very short and very straight to the point, man. You know, you better be praying in these last times. You know, now I'm going to say it again. You know, if you're still praying, right, and calling on the name of a fake white man, Jesus, right, you're still praying to God. God is just a title, man. Right? And that Jesus crap, man, you better do everybody knows now, man, that when you say Jesus, right, you better just look him up, man, and ask me, is that who you praying to? And this is why we're giving you the correct names, man. You know, quick testimony. Ever since I've been in the truth, you know, and I've been praying to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, the Lord has done so many things for me, man. Right? He's revealed his secrets. You know, he's allowed me to stay away from trouble. You know, yeah, man. You know, he allowed me to, you know, get through, man. Receive my daily bread. But you see these people out here are scrambling, man. Jake is bugging out. People are crashing out all on the internet, all on the www dot. But the Lord, right, it's here to tell you what, that wisdom and knowledge is what's going to keep us stable, man. You know, so the point is, you better pray, man. You see? Let's read this too, you know, and I love this story here, right, about Ezra, right, because the angel, right, allowed him to have dreams, man, or the Lord allowed him to have dreams. You know, and the angel came up to him and told him that, you know, he should fast. And that's another thing, too. A lot of brothers and sisters out there, you know, start fasting, man. Start having some discipline about yourself. You ain't got to gorge yourself every day on this food, this GMO food. You know, learn how to fast. Learn how to pray. You know, let's read this here. This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 9. I'm going to start at verse 23, and it reads, nevertheless, if thou wilt cease yet 7 more days, but thou shalt not fast in them, all right, but go unto a field of flowers where no houses is built, and eat only the flowers of the field. Taste no flesh, drink no wine, but eat only flowers. You see, so this is what the angel, all right, told Ezra to do, man, to only eat flowers. Don't eat, you know, don't eat any meat, don't eat any wine. You know, and a lot of people out there, they cannot help themselves, but they have to eat something every day. That's why when all hell break loose out there, the first thing is going to happen is Jake is going to go hungry. And you see what they did with the food stamps, man. These people were breaking in stores. You had women out there talking about selling box. These are people that don't pray. You see, but you brothers and you sisters, man, you better pray. Here's the point. 2nd Ezra, right, chapter 9, verse 25, and it reads, and pray unto the highest continue. Didn't I just read that, man? Right? That sounds very familiar with what I just read. You see, pray without ceasing, man. You see, read it again. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 25, and pray unto the highest continually. Then will I come and talk with thee. You see that? So the point is, all right, you better pray in these times, man. You know, all the prophets of the Lord did, they prayed. You know, not pray to a false God. You see? You got a lot of people out there, you know, they'll pray and they'll, you know, they get online. You know, get online and pray and all of that. Nah, man, that's not the right spirit, man. All right, and Shalakia. Let's go ahead and grab that. What is that? When Thou Prayest. This is the book, right, of St. Matthew chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 5, and it reads, and when thou prayest, you see that? Listen to this real good, man. And when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are. You see, so when you praying, don't be like a hypocrite out here, man. You know, you seeing the pastors and the preachers and, you know, oh, Lord, I'm praying. No, man. That's not how you pray. Continuing on. For they love to pray standing in the synagogue and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. You see, a lot of people do that, man. You know, they try to pray and just to be seen by people, man. And you're not deep. You see, when you pray, matter of fact, I'm going to keep going here. And it reads, verily I say unto you, they have their reward. That's right, man. So when you seeing people out here pray for things, you know, in the street and trying to be, you know, do it all online and all of that. All right, the Lord not answering that prayer, man. You see? Verse 6 and reads, but thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy doors, pray to the Father which is in secret. You see that? And that woman there, she mentioned it, man. You better get on your hands and knees somewhere and pray. You know, every day I pray. When I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is say a prayer. Throughout my day, I'm praying. Before I hit the road, I pray. Before I eat, I pray. You see, before I deal with people sometimes, I gotta pray, man. You know, when I'm dealing with myself, I gotta pray. You see, before I do these videos, I say a prayer. And after I finish the video, I say a prayer. You see, you brothers and sisters out there, you better pray to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai in these last times. Continuing on, it says, pray to the Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. You see that? Yes, man. All right, and I can bear testament to this. You know, you pray in secret, man, and you really mean it, and you call and worship on the names of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, he does answer your prayer, man. And he rewards you openly, man. You know, so the point is, brothers and sisters, you better pray in these last times. Let's go ahead and bring this out and I'm gonna close. This is the book of this is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 23, and it reads, but of the day and the hour knoweth no man. That's right, man. So the day of the Lord is coming. You see, that dark day is coming, man. No, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. You see, so the angels in heaven, right, and Yahweh Shai don't know the day. Only the Father knows. You see, but we know that every day is one step closer, right, until that dark and terrible day, man. You see, let's keep going here, all right, because here's the point. And Shalakia, my phone has kind of been bugging out lately. This is Mark chapter 13, verse 33. Take heed, watch, and what? And pray, for ye know of not when the time is. You see that? So yeah, man, you better watch and pray, right, in these last times, because, you know, as we see, you know, the evil day is definitely approaching. You know, we are definitely in these times, you see, and it's very, very, very important, right, to pray, man. You see that? This is what this woman said again. I'm gonna go ahead and close, man.
I will keep, and that God will be with us and provide for us in these last and evil days. When she said we are under attack, these kind of people, are under attack. It make me think racist attack. All I could say is that we should pray.
You better pray in these last days. Shalom.